Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
It really is.
So the white paper talks about something called Decentralized Oracle Networks, or DONs.
Think of it this way. Blockchains are amazing at securely tracking and verifying transactions, but they live in their own little world.
Okay, so it's like giving blockchains a set of eyes and ears so they can perceive what's happening outside their digital bubble.
Exactly.
And the white paper stresses that anyone can create a DON, right?
Absolutely.
So instead of relying on a few centralized players, we could have this whole ecosystem of DONs competing to provide the most accurate and reliable data.
Precisely.
Okay, you've piqued my curiosity.
Imagine you're trying to buy a stock based on a hot tip, but someone overhears your order, jumps ahead of you, and buys up all the shares, driving up the price.
Ouch, that's frustrating.
In the context of blockchains, imagine someone manipulating the order of transactions to their advantage.
So it's like having an impartial referee who
Right.
makes sure everyone is playing by the rules.
It's a three-part system.
That's reassuring, especially in a world where trust is paramount.
Exactly.
That's a relief to hear. Now let's talk about the economics of Chainlink 2.0.
It's a common reaction.
Okay, so the more people who have skin in the game, the more secure the network becomes.
Imagine each node in the Chainlink network has to deposit significant amount of lengthening tokens as collateral, like a security bond.
So it's
Yeah.
a powerful financial incentive to play by the rules.
That's where the watchdog nodes come in.
I love that.
Precisely.
This idea of economic incentives aligning everyone's goals is fascinating. But what happens if, despite all these safeguards, something goes wrong?
That's a great question.
What if there's a disagreement about the data itself?
That's where Chainlink 2.0's two-tiered system comes in.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
It's like having a backup for your backup.
Walk me through how this two-tiered system works.
So you have your primary Oracle network, right? Fetching data, delivering it, that's the first line of defense. Now, in the rare event that there's a dispute about the accuracy of the data,
Okay.
a second, even more secure and scrutinized backup system swings into action.
So it's like having a double-check system to ensure the integrity of the data.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you have any real-world examples of where this kind of two-tiered approach is used?
Absolutely. Think about insurance policies.
Okay.
You've got your primary coverage for everyday mishaps, right?
Right.
But for those catastrophic events, you might have a separate, more expensive policy that provides an additional layer of financial protection. Or even our court system,
Okay.
with different levels of appeal to resolve disputes and ensure a fair outcome.
Those are great analogies. It highlights how important it is to have checks and balances in place. Now, beyond this two-tiered system, the white paper also delves into trust minimization.
Right.
It seems like Chainlink 2.0 is taking a multi-pronged approach to data security.
Absolutely. They're not solely relying on economic incentives and network effects. They also want to enhance the trustworthiness of data right at its source.
So verifying the data's authenticity from the get-go. Tell me more about how they plan to achieve that.
So right now, a lot of web servers, they don't actually cryptographically sign the data they send out.
Okay.
Chainlink wants to change that with technologies like Deco and Towncrier,
Okay.
which empower data providers to sign their data using cryptography. This creates a much stronger chain of custody.
Got it. So even if someone tried to tamper with the data along the way,
Yeah.
it would be immediately apparent because the signature wouldn't match. That's a really elegant solution.
It is. And it adds another layer of security to the entire system. On top of that, Chainlink is exploring the use of minority reports.
Minority reports. Now that sounds intriguing. What are those all about?
Remember those watchdog nodes we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
Well, even if a majority of nodes were somehow compromised or reporting inaccurate data, a minority of vigilant watchdogs could raise a red flag.
Essentially acting as a check against potential collusion or widespread errors. I like it.
Exactly.
Okay.
This would then trigger a deeper investigation into the discrepancy, making it even harder for bad actors to manipulate the network.
So it's another layer of protection,
Yeah.
ensuring that the system can self-correct even in the face of unexpected challenges. It's like a distributed immune system for data integrity.
That's a great analogy, and it speaks to the core principles of decentralization and redundancy that underpin Chainlink 2.0. They're designing a system that's not reliant on any single point of failure.
Now, switching gears a bit, one thing that really stood out to me in the white paper was the concept of the DON Transaction Execution Framework, or TT. Can you break that down for our listeners?
Of course.
Yeah.
So one of the challenges with blockchains as they exist today
Right.
is that they can be slow and expensive to use. especially for more complex applications. TIA aims to address this by essentially enabling faster and cheaper transactions within the Chainlink ecosystem.
So it's all about optimizing for efficiency.
Exactly.
I can see how that would be crucial, especially as we envision more and more real-world applications relying on blockchain technology. How does T actually work?
Okay, so think of it like this. Instead of every single transaction having to be processed on the main blockchain, which can create bottlenecks,
Yeah.
TA allows for batches of transactions to be handled off-chain within those secure Dawn environments we talked about.
So it's about streamlining the process and reducing the load on the main chain.
Precisely.
Okay.
This not only speeds up transaction times, but also reduces costs, making the entire system more efficient and scalable.
That makes sense. It sounds like a game changer, especially for things like decentralized finance, where speed and cost efficiency are paramount.
Exactly. And because TF is tightly integrated with those DAWNs, it benefits from all those security features and trust minimization techniques we've been discussing.
Right.
It's a win-win situation.
It really sounds like Chainlink 2.0 is taking everything that's promising about blockchain technology and amplifying it, making it faster, cheaper, more secure, and ultimately more accessible for a wider range of applications.
I completely agree. And what's even more compelling is that all of this is being developed in a decentralized, open, and community-driven way. This isn't about a single company controlling the future of blockchain oracles. It's about building a more inclusive and participatory digital world.
And speaking of community-driven development, the white paper mentions that Chainlink is embracing the Ethereum Name Service, or ENS, for its public key infrastructure, or PKI. Can you explain what that means and why it matters for Chainlink 2.0?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really smart move. Essentially, by using ENS, Chainlink is tapping into an existing, well-established, and robust infrastructure.
Okay.
This means that Chainlink node operators can have human-readable names associated with their blockchain addresses.
So instead of having to remember those long, complex strings of characters that represent blockchain addresses, you can just refer to a node by a name, like Trustworthy Oracle Node.
Precisely. It's about making the system more user-friendly and intuitive, which is crucial for adoption. Plus, it helps build trust because it's much easier to verify that you're interacting with the right entity when they have a recognizable name.
That makes a lot of sense. But how does Chainlink ensure that these names are legitimate? Is there a way to prevent someone from just claiming a name that isn't theirs?
Yeah, that's a critical consideration. And Chainlink is addressing it through a multifaceted approach. They are using various forms of verification, including publicly linking to their ENS domain from their website and social media channels. They are essentially making it widely known and verifiable that this is their official ENS domain.
So it's about creating a clear and transparent link between their online identity and their ENS name, making it very difficult for anyone to impersonate them.
Exactly. And they're not stopping there. They're also placing a significant amount of lien tokens under the control of the same address that manages their ENS domain.
So they're putting their money where their mouth is, so to speak.
Precisely. It's a strong signal that they are committed to maintaining the legitimacy of their ENS identity. After all, if they were to act in a way that undermines trust, it would reflect poorly on their ENS domain, and by extension, on the link tokens associated with it. It's a clever way to align incentives and enhance accountability.
That's incredibly clever. It sounds like they've thought of everything.
They are definitely thorough, and it speaks to their commitment to building a robust and trustworthy system. Another aspect of that is their focus on ensuring the accountability of decentralized Oracle networks as a whole.
Now, that's a topic I'm eager to learn more about. What kind of mechanisms are they putting in place to hold these dons accountable for their actions?
One of the advantages of DAWNs is that, compared to many existing blockchains, they have a lot more data capacity. This allows them to keep detailed records of each node's performance history.
Okay.
If a node misbehaves or consistently delivers inaccurate data,
Right.
it can be penalized or, in extreme cases, even removed from the network.
So it's like a performance review system for nodes.
Exactly. And it goes beyond individual node accountability. Chainlink 2.0 is also exploring ways to protect against systemic DAWN failures.
What do you mean by systemic DON failures?
For instance, what happens if a network forks or starts producing inconsistent data? Chainlink is investigating a mechanism where DAWNs would regularly report to a main chain blockchain, providing proof of their correct operation.
So it's like a heartbeat signal,
Exactly.
proving that the DON is alive and well.
Right.
And if that heartbeat stops or if it starts sending erratic signals, then alarm bells go off.
Yeah, it would trigger a response. potentially penalizing the malfunctioning Dawn, and potentially even activating a backup Dawn to step in and ensure continuity.
Wow, so they've really thought of everything.
It's about building resilience and redundancy into the system at every level.
That's reassuring to know.
Right.
Building in safeguards at both the individual node level and the network level,
Mm-hmm.
it's impressive.
It is. It really is.
This deep dive has been a real eye-opener.
Yeah.
From those decentralized Oracle networks to fair sequencing services, trust minimization, and this innovative economic model. Chainlink 2.0 is shaping up to be something truly groundbreaking.
It is.
It's not just about connecting blockchains to the real world. It's about reimagining how we think about trust, transparency, and accountability in a digital age.
Mm-hmm.
What aspect of Chainlink 2.0 has you most excited about the future?
It's funny because for all the technical sophistication we've discussed, what truly captivates me is the sheer potential of this technology to empower individuals and communities.
Yeah.
The idea that anyone can create a dawn
Right.
and offer valuable services to the world,
Yeah.
that's a game changer.
It is.
We're talking about a future where the power of data and decentralized technologies is accessible to everyone, not just a select few.
That is so cool. I love that.
Yeah,
It's about democratizing access to information and opportunity.
absolutely.
It gets my mind racing thinking about all the creative and impactful applications people will come up with.
Absolutely. We're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
Wow.
Imagine a world with truly trustless and automated escrow services where international payments are instant, secure, and practically free, where supply chains are transparent and tamper-proof,
Wow.
and where individuals have complete control over their data.
It's amazing.
These are just a few examples of how Chainlink 2.0 could reshape our world.
It sounds like we're on the cusp of a new era, one where decentralized technologies empower us to build a more equitable, efficient, and innovative future.
We are.
It's an exciting time to be following this space, that's for sure.
It is a very exciting time.
Well, sadly, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive into Chainlink 2.0.
It's kind of pleasure.
The pleasure was all ours.
Thank you.
Be sure to check out the show notes for links to the Chainlink white paper and other resources so you can keep exploring this fascinating technology on your own.
Yes, please do.
Until next time, keep those minds curious,
Indeed.
and we'll see you in the next deep dive.